All right, trainers, are you ready for some spooky fun? It's time to dive into Pokemon Go's Halloween event Part 2.
Oh yeah, get those costumes and Pokeballs ready.
We've got a whole week of spooky goodness coming our way. From October 28th to November 3rd, it's going to be a non-stop parade of costume Pokemon.
Epic Gigantamax battles.
And enough candy to make even a Snorlax jealous.
This is seriously a marathon, not a sprint. So pace yourselves, trainers. A whole week to catch them all. Power them up.
I'm already picturing my team decked out in spooky costumes.
Battling it out in gyms and raids.
And raking in all that sweet, sweet candy.
Don't forget those XL candy bonuses too.
Oh yeah, those are huge, especially for those rare Pokemon that only show up during events.
Gotta max them out while we can.
Exactly. Some of these costume Pokemon might not be back until next year's Halloween. Okay, let's start with the main attraction, the costumes. We're getting 2 awesome new costume Pokemon making their debut.
Drumroll, please.
Froakie with a super stylish witch hat.
And Rowlet rocking a dapper tot hat.
I mean, come on, how cute are those?
Seriously adorable.
But don't let the cuteness fool you. These costume Pokemon are more than just pretty faces.
They evolve into some serious powerhouses.
We're talking Greninja.
And Decidueye.
Imagine a witch hat Greninja leading your team in battle.
Talk about style A&D substance.
I am SO evolving my witch hat Froakie as soon as I can. Can you imagine how cool that'll look in gyms?
And speaking of cool, did you hear about the bonus XL candy you can get? Just for landing nice throws or better.
Yeah, I'm going to be aiming for excellent throws all week long.
Gotta maximize those gains.
That's the spirit. XL candy is precious, especially for those rare Pokemon that are hard to come by outside of events.
It's like seriously hard to come by.
This is your chance to max them out, trainers, so don't miss it.
Okay, you ready for this? On Halloween night itself, October 31st, get ready for a real treat.
What is it? What is it?
We're getting a chance for Rare Candy XL from catching costumed Pokemon.
Wait, hold on. Rare Candy XL.
You heard that right, but there's a catch. Uh-oh, there's always a catch.
You gotta catch those costume Pokemon with nice throws or better.
Challenge accepted.
This is like hitting the jackpot on Halloween.
Especially that Rare Candy XL. It's like gold dust for powering up those legendary and shadow Pokemon.
If you've been saving up for a powerful Mewtwo or a Shadow Salamence, Halloween night is your time to shine.
I'm gonna be out there all night checking Pokeballs like there's no tomorrow.
Me too. And guess what else is coming to town?
What?
The one and only Gigantamax Gengar.
No way.
Oh yeah, this behemoth is making its grand entrance in 6-star max battles.
This is only the 4th Gigantamax Pokemon in the game.
And it has a chance to be shiny.
Hold on, I need a minute to process this. Gigantamax Gengar, shiny. This is huge.
I know, right? These Gigantamax battles are no joke, though.
You're gonna need a strong team of Dynamax Pokemon.
And some serious coordination with other players.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
It's not easy.
But the reward of catching a shiny Gigantamax Gengar.
Totally worth it.
Plus, think about the bragging rights. Not everyone can say they've taken down a Gigantamax Gengar. So gather your friends, power up those Dynamax Pokemon, and get ready for an epic showdown.
And don't forget about all the candy we'll be swimming in during this event.
Oh yeah, double catch candy all week long. Twice the sweetness for every Pokemon you catch.
Plus, that increased XL candy chance from nice throws and better. My Pokemon are going to be feasting like royalty.
Mine too.
And speaking of feasts, let's not forget about those 7-kilometer eggs.
Those are my favorite.
We've got a chance to hatch costumed Vulpix, Witch Hat Pichu, A&D costumed Froakie and Rowlet, all with increased shiny chances.
Are you kidding me? That's amazing.
I know, right? Those are some seriously adorable eggs.
And for shiny hunters, this is like an early Christmas present. Imagine hatching a shiny costumed Froakie.
Talk about a prize to show off.
Okay, I'm ready to hatch a whole basket of those eggs.
Let's move on to wild encounters. We've got spooky favorites like Vulpix in a spooky festival costume. Shove it.
Don't forget about Piplup rocking a Halloween Mischief costume.
Oh yeah, Piplup is going to be styling. We'll also see Woobat, Zorua with a boosted shiny chance,
Okay.
Phantump, and Pumpkaboo in a spooky festival costume. It's going to be a costume party out there.
Don't get too distracted by the cuteness, though. Remember, time is limited, so prioritize your goals.
You're right, we need to stay focused.
Do you want to catch every costumed Pokemon?
Or are you laser focused on those with strong evolutions for battles?
Make a plan and stick to it.
Solid advice. But speaking of excitement, make sure to keep your eyes peeled for the OG of Halloween costumes in Pokemon Go. Witch Hat Pikachu?
Ah, yes, the classic.
Always a fan favorite. And while you're out there catching everything in sight.
Don't forget about those Phantump and Pumpkaboo.
Ooh, why those two? I'm always down for some tips.
It's a bit of a long game, but trust me, it's worth it. Catch a ton of those spooky pumpkins during the event.
Okay, got it.
Find a friend and mirror trade them. This little trick reduces the evolution cost to 0 candy.
That's genius.
Then just wait for a double evolution XP event. Pop a lucky egg.
Boom, you'll be swimming in XP.
It's like a Pokemon Go life hack.
Love it. Okay, time to talk raids. What should we be focusing on?
Glad you asked. 1-star raids are featuring the new costumed Froakie and Rowlet, both with increased shiny odds.
Oh, I'm definitely going to be raiding for those costume cuties. They'll be the stars of my Halloween team.
Excellent choice.
But what about the higher level raids? What spooky surprises are waiting for us there?
Moving up to 3-star raids, we've got costumed Gengar.
Ooh, a costumed Gengar.
You know what that means, right?
Mega Gengar.
Exactly. This is your chance to get a potentially high IV Gengar that you can Mega Evolve and Mega Gengar. That's a top-tier attacker, thanks to Mega Evolution's Power Boost, and this event is a prime chance to build one.
And with those event bonuses,
It do be even stronger.
Mega Gengar is a beast.
Mm.
What else is lurking in those 3-star raids?
We've also got Umbreon and Drifblim, both with increased shiny odds.
I'm sensing a theme here.
Lots of shiny opportunities this time around, and these Pokemon are more than just shiny bait. Umbreon is a rock star in the Great League and Halloween Cup.
Ooh, a costumed Umbreon in the Halloween Cup. Talk about intimidating.
Plus, it's a dark type, so those event bonuses are going to make it even tougher.
Okay, you've convinced me.
Yeah,
Costumed Gengar and Umbreon are going on my raid list.
excellent choices.
What about the 5-star and Mega raids?
In 5-star raids, we have Darkrai, a seriously formidable dark type attacker.
Another one for the event bonus boost.
Exactly. This is your chance to catch one with good IVs.
If you haven't already got a strong one, that is.
And for Mega raids, get ready for Mega Banette.
Mega Banette. I love that spooky puppet. It's not the absolute best ghost type attacker, but it's still a valuable asset.
Especially if you don't have a Mega Gengar yet.
True that. All right, we've covered the costume cuties, the candy bonuses,
Wild encounters.
and even the raid scene.
But there's one more thing we need to talk about, and it's a big one.
Oh, I'm intrigued. What could be bigger than a Gigantamax Gengar?
We've touched on Gigantamax Gengar.
But we haven't talked about how to actually take one down.
You're absolutely right. Those 6-star max battles are not for the faint of heart.
That's for sure.
You're going to need a coordinated team and some serious firepower to take down this Gigantamax beast. Make sure you've got your Dynamax Pokemon powered up.
Any recommendations?
I'd recommend focusing on the Galarian starter Pokemon since they're super effective against the Kanto starter Pokemon that also appear in max battles.
Smart.
And don't forget, these battles are in person only.
So find some friends to battle with.
It's always more fun to take on a challenge like this as a team.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
Plus, it's a chance to show off your awesome costumed Pokemon.
I'm already planning my outfit. All right, we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have. But before we send our listeners off to catch all the costumed Pokemon, there's one more thing I want to talk about.
Okay, I'm all ears.
This is something that a lot of players overlook, but it can be a real game changer, especially during events like this.
Don't leave us hanging. What is it?
It's all about setting goals and having a plan. Before you dive headfirst into the candy collecting frenzy,
Which is very tempting, by the way.
very tempting, but take a moment to think about what you want to achieve during this event.
What do I really want to get out of this event?
Exactly. Do you want to max out a specific Pokemon?
Maybe finally catch that elusive shiny.
Or conquer all the raids and claim victory over Gigantamax Gengar?
Okay, now you're getting me excited.
It's easy to get overwhelmed with all the things happening during events.
For sure. I'm already feeling a little overwhelmed just thinking about it.
That's why it's important to prioritize.
You don't have to do everything.
And trying to do too much can lead to frustration and burnout.
You're speaking from experience, aren't you?
Maybe just a little bit. Pick a few goals that are most important to you, and then focus your efforts on achieving those.
Okay, that makes sense. Focus on what matters most and build a plan around that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's all about working smarter, not harder.
I like that. I tend to get so excited about events that I try to do everything at once.
And then you end up feeling overwhelmed.
You know me too well. This time, I'm going to make a list of my top priorities and stick to it. No more running around like a headless haunter.
That's the spirit.
But let's be real, this event is going to be a temptation-filled wonderland of costumed Pokemon
Shiny spawns.
and epic raid battles. It's going to be tough to resist the urge to catch them all.
I hear you. But remember, you don't have to catch everything to have a successful event. Sometimes the most satisfying victories come from setting a specific goal and achieving it.
Even if it means missing out on some of the other stuff.
Exactly. It's all about quality over quantity.
So what are your plans for this event? What are you most excited about?
Ooh, that's a tough one. There's so much to look forward to. I'm honestly excited about everything, but if I had to choose,
Don't leave us hanging.
I'd say I'm most looking forward to seeing all the creative team compositions that emerge for the Halloween Cup.
Oh, that's a great one. The Halloween Cup is always a highlight of the spooky season.
It's a chance to showcase your spookiest, most cunning Pokémon and battle it out for Halloween supremacy.
And with all the ghost, poison, and dark-type Pokémon featured in this event.
There are tons of options to choose from.
So many possibilities. Okay, I'm getting excited now. Hit me with some potential Halloween Cup stars. We already talked about Umbreon, but who else should we be looking out for?
Well, if you're lucky enough to catch a costumed Gengar with good IVs, that's an obvious powerhouse.
Mega Gengar is a top-tier attacker in the Halloween Cup. Having a costumed one. Talk about style A&D substance.
Exactly. It's like the ultimate Halloween Cup flex.
I love it. What else?
Alolan Marowak is another solid pick. It's got that Ghost and Fire type combo.
Gives it some unique coverage.
And it has access to Shadow Bone, a seriously powerful Ghost type charged attack.
Alolan Marowak is a classic for a reason. What about some lesser-known contenders? Any hidden gems we should be keeping an eye out for?
Well, if you're feeling adventurous, consider Jellicent. It's a pure water and ghost type, so it resists both fighting and normal type attacks.
Those are pretty common threats in the Halloween Cup.
Right. It's also got access to Shadow Ball, a powerful stab move that can deal some serious damage.
Jellicent. I like it. Never used it in the Halloween Cup before.
Now's your chance.
Any other dark horses we should be considering?
Don't underestimate Drapion. It's a poison and dark type with good bulk.
And some hard-hitting moves.
Like Crunch and Sludge Bomb can be a real nuisance to deal with, especially if you catch one with good IVs.
I'm intrigued. It's not the flashiest Pokemon, but it gets the job done.
Exactly. Sometimes it's the underdog that delivers the knockout punch. So we've got a solid list of potential Halloween Cup contenders here, but with so many options, how do we know which ones will truly shine?
Yeah, how do we know which Pokemon to focus on?
Well, that's the beauty of it. The Halloween Cup meta is constantly evolving.
You never know what strategies are going to pop up.
Right. So the best way to figure out what works is to get out there and battle. Try out different team compositions, experiment with different movesets, and see what clicks for you.
I love that. It's all about exploring, experimenting, and discovering those hidden synergies that make a team truly unstoppable. Okay, so we've covered costumes, candy, raids,
And the Halloween Cup.
but we can't forget about the main event, Gigantamax Gengar.
We've touched on Gigantamax Gengar.
But we haven't talked about how to actually take one down.
Good point. These 6-star max battles are not for the faint of heart, so you need to be prepared.
I'm already getting nervous just thinking about it.
Don't worry, we'll get you ready. We already talked about the importance of teamwork.
And choosing the right Dynamax Pokemon.
But there's always more to learn when it comes to facing a behemoth like Gigantamax Gengar.
Lay it on us. What are your pro tips for tackling this ghostly giant?
First things first, know your enemy.
Know thy enemy.
Exactly. Familiarize yourself with Gigantamax Gengar's moveset. Knowing its strengths and weaknesses will give you a huge advantage in battle.
Makes sense. Knowledge is power.
Especially when you're facing a giant ghost-type Pokémon.
Okay, so we need to do our homework before we head into battle. What else?
Don't forget about the weather. Gigantamax Gengar is a ghost type.
So foggy weather will boost its moves.
Exactly. So if you can time your battles for when it's foggy, you'll have a significant advantage.
Okay, so we need to become amateur meteorologists now.
It's all about strategy.
But what if the weather's not cooperating?
Well, certain types of weather can also hinder Gigantamax Gengar. For example, its ghost-type moves are weakened in sunny weather.
So if you're battling in sunny conditions, you might want to adjust your strategy.
Exactly. Think about those type matchups.
Wow, I never thought about the weather having such a big impact on Gigantamax battles.
Yeah.
This is next level strategy. Anything else we need to know before we face this ghostly giant?
Here's a pro tip. If you're struggling to find other players to battle with,
It happens.
try using Campfire. It's a fantastic way to connect with other trainers in your area and coordinate those raid battles.
Campfire is a lifesaver, especially for rural players like me.
I know what you mean. Sometimes it feels like I'm the only trainer in my town.
But with Campfire, you can connect with other trainers and take on those challenging raids that you wouldn't be able to solo.
Exactly. It's all about community and teamwork. And speaking of teamwork, there's one more thing I want to mention before we wrap up this part of our deep dive.
Okay, lay it on me. What else could there be to cover? We've talked about everything from costumed Pokemon to raid strategies to Halloween Cup contenders.
We have, but there's one aspect of this event that we haven't touched on yet.
Don't leave me hanging. What is it?
It's something that can really enhance your overall Pokemon Go experience.
Intriguing. Tell me more.
It's all about the social aspect of Pokemon Go. This event is a fantastic opportunity to connect with other trainers.
Pokemon Go is always more fun with friends.
Exactly. So gather your friends, your family, your neighbors.
Even that random person you always see at the park catching Pokemon.
Make this Halloween event a truly social experience.
I love that idea. Let's turn this Halloween event into a giant Pokemon Go party.
That's the spirit. Who knows? You might even make some new friends along the way.
And maybe even trade for that shiny costume Froakie I've been dreaming of.
Now you're talking.
All right, before we wrap up, I have one last question for you. What are your plans for this Halloween event? What are you most excited about?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I'm honestly excited about everything. But if I had to pick one thing,
If you had to choose.
I'd say I'm most looking forward to seeing all the creative team compositions that emerge in the Halloween Cup. It's always so fascinating to see how players adapt metagame.
And come up with new and innovative strategies.
It's like a puzzle.
I'm with you on that. The Halloween Cup is always a highlight of the spooky season. What about you? What are you most looking forward to?
I'm a simple trainer. I just want to catch as many costume Pokemon as possible, especially that witch hat Froakie. I'm a sucker for those cute Pokemon.
You too.
And seeing my team decked out in those spooky costumes just brings a smile to my face.
And hey, maybe we'll even get lucky and encounter a shiny one.
A shiny costumed Froakie. That would be the ultimate Halloween treat. Speaking of treats,
Oh yes, the candy.
I'm also looking forward to stocking up on all that delicious candy.
Double catch candy. Here we come.
My Pokemon are going to be feasting for weeks.
All right, I think it's officially time to wrap up this Halloween extravaganza of a deep dive.
Already?
I know, but we've covered so much ground, from those tiny costume Pokemon to the mighty Gigantamax Gengar. I hope our listeners are feeling as pumped for this event as we are.
Me too. Remember, trainers, set your goals, have a plan, and most importantly, F-U-N.
Happy Halloween.
And until next time,
Stay spooky.
and catch 'em all. Whew, so much to do during this event. I feel like we need a strategy guide just to keep track of it all.
I know, right? But that's what makes it so exciting. It's like a giant Pokemon Go treasure hunt. Speaking of treasure, did you hear about those timed research tasks?
You mean the ones with Spiritomb and Morpeko?
Yeah, those. A free Spiritomb, Aindy, and Morpeko. That sounds like a pretty sweet deal.
It is a good deal, especially if you're looking to add those Pokemon to your collection.
But you did mention earlier that it requires completing 3 raids.
Oh, right. It's not completely free, I guess. You gotta put in a little work for those rewards.
I mean, 3 raids isn't that bad, especially with all the awesome raid bosses we've got during this event.
Yeah.
But for those who aren't planning to raid much, there might be more efficient ways to get a Spiritomb.
You're thinking like a true strategist. Always gotta weigh the costs and benefits.
Speaking of accessible rewards, let's talk about field research tasks. Those are always a highlight for me during events. What kind of goodies can we expect this time around?
This time, field research is like a Halloween goodie bag. We've got encounters with those awesome costume Pokemon, more Pico encounters, and even a chance to encounter Spiritomb.
No way! So even if you're not raiding, you could still snag a Spiritomb through field research.
Exactly. Niantic's giving us plenty of ways to catch this spooky Pokemon.
I love that. Field research is just so satisfying. Complete a task, get a cool Pokemon encounter, what's not to love?
Plus, you get to explore different areas and maybe even discover some new Pokestops and gyms along the way.
You're right, it's a great way to get some exercise and fresh air while you're catching Pokemon. Okay, so we've got Spiritomb and Morpeko, costume Pokemon encounters. What else is hiding in those field research tasks?
Keep your eyes peeled for tasks that reward Mega Energy for Gengar, Houndoom, Sableye, Bennett, and Absol.
Wait, hold on. Mega Energy from field research.
You heard that right. This is huge GE, especially for those who are free to play or just prefer other aspects of the game.
Usually you gotta grind those Mega Rays to get your hands on Mega Energy. This is a game changer.
Right. It's a fantastic opportunity to stock up on Mega Energy without having to raid.
Niantic is really spoiling us this Halloween. Okay, let's recap for a moment. We've got costume Pokemon galore, epic Gigantamax Gengar battles, candy bonuses, sneaky leveling up strategies, and mega energy from field research.
It's a Pokemon Go Halloween extravaganza. There's something for everyone.
You're absolutely right. Hardcore raiders, shiny hunters, casual collectors, costume enthusiasts. Everyone's got a reason to celebrate this Halloween.
It's like Niantic took everything we love about Halloween, the costumes, the candy, the spooky vibes, and sprinkled it all over Pokemon Go.
I couldn't have said it better myself. I'm already feeling the Halloween spirit. But before we get too carried away with all the excitement, there's something important we need to address.
What is it? Did I forget to mention something?
Don't worry, you're doing great. But with so much going on during this event, it's easy to get overwhelmed and lose sight of what you want to achieve.
That happens to the best of us. Sometimes I get so excited about events that I try to do everything at once, and then I end up feeling burnt out before the event is even over.
I've been there. It's like that feeling of eating too much candy on Halloween night.
Yeah.
You regret it later.
Exactly. So before you dive headfirst into the candy collecting frenzy, take a moment to breathe and ask yourself, what do I really want to get out of this event?
That's a great question. Do you want to max out your favorite Pokemon? Finally catch that elusive shiny? Or conquer those challenging 6-star raids?
It's all about setting priorities. You don't have to do everything, and trying to do too much will just leave you feeling stressed and disappointed.
You know what? You're absolutely right. It's easy to get caught up in the hype and forget what really matters. This time, I'm going to make a list of my top priorities and stick to it.
That's a great plan. It's all about working smarter, not harder.
No more running around like a headless haunter for me. I'm going to channel my inner Pokemon master and strategize my way to Halloween success.
I love that attitude. And speaking of Halloween success, what are you most excited to catch during this event?
Ooh, that's a tough one. They're all so adorable. But I have to admit, Witch Hat Froakie has stolen my heart. That mischievous grin, the stylish witch hat, it's the perfect blend of spooky and cute.
I'm right there with you. Witch Hat Froakie is definitely at the top of my list too, but Rowlet in a top hat is a close second. It's like he's ready to host a spooky Pokemon soiree.
Oh my gosh, a spooky Pokemon soiree. That's the best idea ever. I can already picture them both leading my team in the Halloween Cup.
Speaking of the Halloween Cup, have you given any thought to your team composition?
Oh, the Halloween Cup. That's always a highlight of the spooky season. It's like the ultimate test of spooky Pokemon strategy.
And with all those ghost, poison, and dark-type Pokemon featured in this event, there are tons of options to choose from.
Okay, I'm officially excited. Let's brainstorm some potential Halloween Cup MVPs. We've already talked about Umbreon, but who else should we be considering?
Well, if you manage to snag a costumed Gengar with good IVs, that's a no-brainer. Mega Gengar is a top-tier attacker in the Halloween Cup.
And having a costumed one. Talk about style A&D substance.
Exactly. It's like the ultimate Halloween Cup flex.
I love it. What else have you got?
Alolan Marowak is always a solid pick for the Halloween Cup.
It's a classic for a reason.
That Ghost and Fire typing gives it great coverage, and Shadowbone is a force to be reckoned with.
I'm definitely adding a low-end Marowak to my team. But what about something a little more unexpected? Any hidden gems we should be looking out for?
Well, if you're feeling adventurous, consider Jellicent. It's a pure water and ghost type, which makes it resistant to both fighting and normal attacks.
Those are pretty common in the Halloween Cup, right?
Exactly. Plus, it has access to Shadow Ball, which can hit pretty hard.
Jellicent, huh? I've never used it in the Halloween Cup before, but I'm intrigued. Got to keep those opponents guessing.
That's the key to success in the Halloween Cup. And speaking of surprises, don't underestimate Drapion. It's a poison and dark type with good bulk and some hard-hitting moves.
Like Crunch and Sludge Bomb.
Right. It can be a real pain to deal with, especially if you can catch one with good IVs.
Drapion, eh? Not the prettiest Pokemon, but definitely a force to be reckoned with. Okay, we've got a solid list of contenders here, but with so many options, how do we know which ones will truly shine in the Halloween Cup?
That's the beauty of it. The Halloween Cup meta is constantly evolving, so the best way to figure out what works is to get out there and battle. Experiment with different team compositions, try out various movesets, and see what clicks for you.
I love that. It's all about exploring and experimenting and discovering those hidden synergies that make a team truly unstoppable. Okay, so we've covered costumes, candy, raids, and even the Halloween Cup. But we can't forget about the main event. Gigantamax Gengar.
Oh yeah, that's right. We've talked about teamwork and choosing the right Dynamax Pokemon, but battling a Gigantamax Gengar is no walk in the park. There's always more to learn when it comes to facing a behemoth like that.
I'm all ears. Hit me with your pro tips for taking down this ghostly giant.
Okay, first and foremost, know your enemy. Familiarize yourself with Gigantamax Gengar's moveset, its strengths, its weaknesses. That knowledge will give you a huge advantage in battle.
Knowledge is power, especially when you're facing a Pokemon that's like 10 times your size. What
Uh,
else you got?
Pay attention to the weather. Gigantamax Gengar is a ghost type, so its moves get a power boost in foggy weather.
So if we can time our battles for when it's foggy, we'll have a better chance of winning.
Exactly. Every little advantage counts when you're going up against a Gigantamax Pokemon.
Okay, so we need to become Pokemon meteorologists now. I'm up for the challenge.
Yeah,
But what if the weather isn't on our side? What if it's sunny?
good question. Well, certain types of weather can actually hinder Gigantamax Gengar. For example, its ghost-type moves are weakened in sunny weather.
So if we're battling in broad daylight, we need to adjust our strategy accordingly.
You got it. It's all about adapting to the situation.
I never realized how much strategy goes into these Gigantamax battles. It's a whole new level of Pokemon mastery.
It definitely is. And remember, if you're struggling to find other trainers to battle with, Campfire is your best friend.
Especially for rural players like me.
Yeah.
It's like our lifeline to the Pokemon Go community.
I know what you mean. Sometimes it feels like I'm the only trainer in my town, but with Campfire, you can connect with other trainers, coordinate raid battles, and take on those challenging encounters that you wouldn't be able to solo.
Campfire is the ultimate tool for community building in Pokemon Go. It's amazing to see how trainers come together to support each other and achieve those shared goals.
It really is. And speaking of shared goals, there's one more aspect of this event that we need to highlight. It's something that often gets overlooked, but it can truly elevate your Pokemon Go experience.
Okay, now you've got me curious. What is it?
It's all about the social aspect of the game. This event is a fantastic opportunity to connect with other trainers, whether it's for raid battles, trading, or simply sharing your excitement for all things spooky.
You're so right. Pokemon Go is so much more fun when you're playing with friends.
Exactly. So gather your friends, your family, your neighbors, even that random person you always see at the park catching Pokemon, and make this Halloween event a truly social experience.
I love that idea. Let's turn this Halloween event into one giant Pokemon Go party.
That's the spirit.
That
Who
one-
knows? You might even make some new friends along the way. And hey, maybe you'll even trade for that shiny costumed Froakie you've been dreaming of.
Now you're talking. All right, before we wrap up this segment, I've got to know, what are your plans for this Halloween event? What are you most excited about?
Ooh, that's a tough one. There's just so much to look forward to. I'm honestly excited about everything, but if I had to pick just one thing,
Don't leave me hanging. What is it?
I'd have to say I'm most excited about seeing all the creative team compositions that emerge for the Halloween Cup. It's always so fascinating to see how players adapt to the metagame and come up with new and innovative strategies.
Oh, absolutely. The Halloween Cup is like a breeding ground for creative team building. It's all about outsmarting your opponent and predicting their next move. What about you? What are you most excited about?
You know, I'm a simple trainer. I just want to catch as many costume Pokemon as possible, especially that mischievous witch hat Froakie. I'm a sucker for cute Pokemon.
Me too. And hey, maybe we'll even get lucky and encounter a shiny one.
A shiny costumed Froakie. Now that would be the ultimate Halloween treat. Speaking of treats, I'm also looking forward to stocking up on all that delicious candy. Double catch candy, here we come. My Pokemon are going to be feasting for weeks.
Mine too. Okay, it sounds like we're both ready to dive head first into this Halloween event. But before we do, let's take a moment to appreciate how much we've covered in this segment. We've talked about times research, field research, Halloween Cup strategies, Gigantamax Gengar tips, the importance of setting goals, and even the social aspect of the game.
We've really covered it all.
I hope our listeners are feeling as pumped for this event as we are. It's going to be an epic week of spooky fun, candy collecting, and Pokemon battling.
It's going to be amazing. But hold on a sec. Before we wrap things up, we got to talk about those platinum medals.
Oh, good call. Those are important, especially if you're aiming for those bragging rights.
Exactly. And this Halloween event, it's like a platinum medal booster. All those ghost and dark types running around. It's the perfect opportunity to level up your Hex Maniac and Delinquent medals.
I'm always working on those. There's just something so satisfying about seeing that platinum shine next to a medal, like a badge of honor in Pokemon Go.
It totally is. It shows dedication, you know?
Absolutely. So besides Hex Maniac and Delinquent, What other medals should we be focusing on during this event?
Think about all those costumed Pokemon, more Pico encounters, and Spiritomb from field research. That's a direct path to leveling up your Pokemon Ranger medal.
Ooh, good point. I always forget about the Pokemon Ranger medal. Got to catch them all, even the spooky ones.
Exactly. And for those size fanatics out there, remember those Pumpkaboo forms. Catching all those different sizes can help you inch closer to those tiny and jumbo collector medals.
Now you're talking. I love a good multitasking challenge catching spooky Pokemon while working towards those coveted platinum medals. Okay, now let's shift gears a bit and talk about leveling up. Any tips for maximizing XP gains during this event?
You bet. Remember our little pal Mega Sableye?
Ah, our favorite spooky gem-eyed gremlin. What about it?
Keeping Mega Sableye Mega evolved during this event is like having a personal XP booster. You'll get bonus XP for every Ghost and Dark type you catch. Passive XP game, baby!
Mega Sableye. I knew there was a reason I loved you so much. You're not just a stooky cutie, you're an XP machine.
Exactly. Mega Sableye is the real MVP of this Halloween event.
Yeah?
And don't forget about the power of friendship, too. Leveling up your friendship with other trainers can give you a serious XP boost, especially with the boosted bonuses we have this season.
Ooh, friendship XP, always a good thing. I'm gonna be sending out gifts like there's no tomorrow after this.
Spread that friendship XP love. And here's a little trick for those who really want to level up quickly. Remember Origin Palkia's Spatial Rend Adventure effect.
You mean the one that basically turns you into a Pokemon magnet? The one that DOBLS, the spawn radius around you?
That's the one. More Pokemon encounters mean more catches, more candy, and of course, more XP.
It's like a cheat code for leveling up.
It's not cheating, it's strategic playing.
True, true. Origin Palkia, activate. Any other secret weapons we should be aware of?
Don't forget about those Adventure Sync rewards. Make sure you're hitting those weekly walking goals to earn even more Stardust and items.
You know me. I'm practically a Pokemon Go marathon runner at this point. Bring on those kilometers.
That's the spirit. Every little bit helps, especially when you're on the level up grind.
All right, trainers, it's time for the final rundown. We've covered so much in this deep dive, from those adorable costume Pokemon to those epic Gigantamax Gengar battles. We've explored candy collecting strategies, platinum medal tips, leveling up techniques, and even the social magic of Pokemon Go. What an adventure it's been.
I've had a blast exploring the spooky side of Pokemon Go with you. I always love diving deep into these events and uncovering those hidden gems of knowledge.
Knowledge is power, my friend. And we're all about empowering our listeners to become the very best Pokemon Go trainers they can be.
So, to all our listeners out there, embrace the spooky spirit, get out there, and make the most of this incredible Halloween event.
Catch those costume Pokemon, conquer those Gigantamax battles, fill your bags with candy, level up those medals, and connect with your fellow trainers.
Most importantly, have fun. Whether you're a seasoned trainer or just starting your Pokemon Go journey, there's always something new to discover and enjoy.
Keep exploring, keep learning, and keep catching those Pokemon. Until next time, trainers, stay spooky and happy Halloween.